What's Good podcast.
Are you ready?
Your number one source
to all the keys in the industry.
With Brianna Javon.
It's the What's Good podcast.
What's good?
Hey, ladies and gents, this is your girl, Brianna Javon, and we are here with a new episode of What's Good podcast. We have a new guest with us. His name is Mr. Willie Lee. How are you?
I'm amazing. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing as well. Thank you so much for asking. So maybe a couple of months ago, we decided to see what things that we were going to do, and everybody decided to do real estate. So we are here with real estate. And as you guys know, we do not do interviews. We do genuine conversations. So let's get to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Willie Lee. So we start off with an icebreaker. Are you ready for your icebreaker?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When it comes to your clients, because I watch HGTV,
Mhm.
what is the most unique or the most difficult request when it comes to making sure that your clients are happy with the request that they get?
Working magic. Working magic. Working magic, man. Because, yeah, it had to be working magic because it's like, sometimes you want a $500,000 house, but you only approve for $400,000. So it's just like, what can we do to kind of get you closer to that as possible? Because it's like something is out of your hands, and just like something clients see things, or they think about what somebody bought a year ago, and they think they can get the same thing. So we're trying to figure out how we can do it and what ways we can work to help them achieve that goal.
I love that. And that's what it's called, is working magic.
I say you got to work some magic to get what you want, because sometimes it's not possible. It's just like, what do we got to do to achieve that, and then what are you willing to sacrifice to get to that goal? So it's just like having those hard conversations. So trying to work magic to get them to what they want.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So
Yeah.
outside of, them may not having the proper budget for the property that they're looking for, is there anything outside of that that may be like, okay, this is too much? Like, for example, husband and wife. A husband may want a pool, but the wife is like, that's too much maintenance. Have you came across anything like that?
All the time.
So how do you find like a happy medium with that type of situation?
You got to see who the decision maker is in the relationship.
Ah.
And once you see the decision maker, you kind of have a conversation with them, and you should lay it out. Because how that pool going to be beneficial to your family? If there's something that your family going to use, if you got kids and the kid going to be in the pool, but then you go to the other person just like, listen, man, I get what your wife was saying. You guys got kids. It's hot in Texas. Kids going to be in the pool. You ain't anybody at home but you guys. So it's just like trying to make it make sense to them, because sometimes we say things, we want things. Me, for prime example, and just like when somebody kind of break it down to you, it's like, you're right. It could be the same thing that spouse has said, but when they get somebody else on the outside then saying it in the way they understand it, they be like, oh, you're totally right. So you just kind of,
okay. So you got to break it down for the people.
Yeah, you guys
let them know pros and cons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get into our genuine conversation. Mr. Willie Lee, tell the people who you are and what do you do?
I am, I'm Willie Hannah. I am from Mississippi, but I reside here in the DFW area. Been doing real estate for the last 2 years. I am retired. I'm a single father. And pretty much now, real estate's been fun. It's been my focus because it's been very intriguing because, I got into real estate and I started looking at the history of real estate, especially among the Black communities. And you see how back when the Black community was really prospering, how much real estate that we owned, how much land that we had. So, and that's what made me intrigued in real estate. So I love it because it's like you can make good wealth off of real estate, because guess what? You can make a lot of more stuff, but you can't make more land. And, just trying to educate people and try to get them to understand that, how much this could take them. So, that's what I do now.
Love that. So I know you mentioned retired, and you retired from the Navy, right?
The best branch in America.
So how did you transition from that industry over to real estate?
Well,
what did that look like?
So a lot of my good friends is in real estate, and I did not want to get into sales once I retired. I was doing recruiting duty. And I came by Keller Williams office and I met Miss Judy. I came in, I was looking for a program for Navy people when we transfer. Do they have a program to help us, transfer and move to houses because we transfer, and try to see something that could help us do that right there. And Miss Judy Redmond came up and talked to me about, she said, why don't you get into real estate? I'm like, nah, I'm cool on that. And she took me to lunch. She talked about real estate and actually gave me a free course to take to get my real estate license. And I took the free course. And I got a friend. So Antonio Buchanan, how I met Seneca and all the guys up at the Comfort You. He talked to me about it. My boy Greg talked to me about it. So I gave it a shot. And then I ended up going to Champion and get my license. So that's how I got into it. And then you just start looking at real estate and how I can help your family. And then I see my family, how we had all these acres of land. And, you kind of lost it. So a lot of things just kind of made me more interested in real estate. So that's where I'm at now.
What is your expertise when it comes to the industry?
I just care. I don't say I got expertise, I just care. Because it's like, if you want to do it, let's see how we can make you do it. So it's just not, it's about helping people. And I get a high up when you you see that client who parents who nobody never owned a house, and they buy a house and you help them get that. I have a young man, he didn't think he could do it. First thing most people say, man, my credit bad, man, let's see where you at. We got with a lender. The lender got his stuff fixed, and he's building a brand new house in out here. So my expertise is just helping people and trying to make you want to help yourself, help them, and be the legwork to help you go and get it done. So I guess my expertise is just being an assistance to, assisting you and finding something that you want.
Nice. So you mentioned what I got from that is like you talk to a lender to help out your clients get to where they need to be in order to get a new home. Do you have a lot of collaborations in the circle of lenders or whomever as far as resources to help your clients get to purchasing property?
Yes. So I treat real estate like this we did in the military, right? Because you may not fit with this lender. You may need Miss Kim. You may need Marion. You may need Charlemagne. So it's just trying to figure out that right person with that right lender, because we all speak the same language. We all in the same book. Some of us not in the same chapter. You may be on chapter this lender. So it's just trying to meet you, put you with the right fit and let you go from there, and then let you talk to that person, see if y'all fit. So it's just like, that's why you meet people, you collaborate people, and you see what people do for people, because, can they help them? They may not can help them, but there's other than you can. So you just got to kind of meet people and try to see who fits with who, because it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah, that makes sense. What does your team look like? 'Cause I know you mentioned a few people.
So I got with a group of people, and we call it tech Ovation, sports and entertainment. And, we're a group of people who really care. One of my agents, we're all, and most of us was athletes in school. Most of us was in the military. So we want to help the most military people and athletes out. So to be honest, it's sad when you see people that look like us and they're really just like you're somebody totally different. It's just like, they can't relate to some of the issues that they have. And it's just like, why we're not in that space. And then you talk to some realtors, they don't think they have the courage to be into that space to work with these people, and I don't want nobody should tell me I can't do nothing. Like, oh, you can't, it's hard to work with those people because of this. Nah, failure is not an option. So we're going to try to get it. So my team, we try to go in and make sure that, when our athletes and stuff like that, because you see so many people that get money and blow it. Well, how about this right here? You buy a property here in Dallas and let this property pay for itself while you still doing your thing and help you invest. You got family members. Hey, let's get your family members involved, because guess what? Your family members can buy houses and fix them up and flip them. So my team is like, we want to really help people to, with this athlete, whether entertainment, whatever, but we want to help people put money back into their community, because Texas, the DFW area we at, has so many athletes, has so many entertainers, but why not buy property in your backyard and rent it out, because you have the capital. So my team, we want to help our people get the capital and restore these neighborhoods. So you hear Mike Epps bought a block. We could do the same thing. We could buy these blocks and we could help people out, and we could really put our money back to work, because we don't need nobody but ourselves. We can recreate the Black Wall Street, because if you look what Black Wall Street was happening, how did it happen? The Black dollar stayed within the community, right? And that money could boom, boom, boom. And just think about that. If you got a friend and you want to buy a house and want to buy commercial property, boom, we got that right there, as well as resources. We got people to give you training in flipping houses. We got people to give you training, all this there, right here, all that stuff. So we want to make sure that we get to put the right people with the right people and go from there. So that's what our team is about, and just trying to help people.
I love it. So for me, don't know anything about real estate, investing, anything of that nature. And I come to you and your team. I'm like, hey, I have this amount of money. I want to get started on either flipping houses or some type of investment. What does that process look like as far as a consultation and what I need to do, how I need to do it, and how to bring in your team?
So we do like a blueprint with your brief and what you to get what you're looking for, what's your expectation, how much you have, so that way we could do our research because we don't want to come at you when you come and meet with us, come at you, shoot out the pocket. And we want to let you know up front because sometimes people, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, words don't. So we'll let you know some things that we might have to go do research on because sometimes you think you come to me and I'm the know-all, and people act like that. But if I'm honest and open and honest with you, you'll be like, okay. But I can let you know that we have a whole network of other people in our circle to where you may ask something, we got to go get it for you. Like, hey, check this out. Let me find out for you, give you the information. So boom, you come in. Like today, we're having a class on flipping properties, right? So today I'm like, hey, come through. We having a class on flipping property. Come in and boom, 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 boom. I would ask you to like, hey, if you don't understand what I'm saying, if I'm talking too fast, if I'm talking in words you don't understand, say something. Because the big thing a lot of times is that you'll come into an interview and we assume that you know some of the basic stuff, but you don't know none of this stuff. So we don't know what level you're at. So we would ask you to be open and honest with us. Like, hey, if you don't understand what I'm saying out the jump, let me know. Like they say, hey, I don't understand, or hey, you're talking too fast. So that way it'll be easy to help you and help guide you and get you there because it'll be more than one meeting because I'm not going to give you everything in the first meeting. So part of start with that preliminary meeting to see where you at and see that we answer your questions. And then after that, we'll do another follow-up meeting to wait, boom, 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 to make sure and ensure that you understand it. And then we'll manage your expectations because you want to flip. So you may think, I'm going to bring in 200,000 and do this right here. So we got to give you the real. Now, we may have to put you with some financial things to where it's like you understand because we want to stay in our lane. We're not tax attorneys. We're not, this, and this, but we want to make sure we put you with these people that's going to guide you to the point. Get what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're going to teach you about real estate, but then it's more than just real estate because like, all right, do you have an LLC? Boom. All right. Do you have a CP? So we want to make sure that you have the whole business side set up because guess what? You could be the best person in the world. You can have all the skills in the world, but you don't have that business side set up. Somebody gonna come in and make money off of you. So we want to make sure that nobody's making money off your knowledge, your hard work. So you are getting what you need. So we want to give you just not real estate, but the overall goal about financing LSC to make sure you're protecting yourself so you protect your investment. So that's the process right there. So it'll take more than 1 or 2 interviews to see where we're at and see what structures you have in place. Because you may say that you don't have nothing. You may say this, you may say that, but in actuality, we just got it. You know it in a different language. So we just got to transfer that language to the language and make you understand it. So yeah.
That is so good because for me, I'm a Googler. So I'm just going to be like, okay, I know I want to do real estate. I know it's flipping houses. I know you can do this. I know you can host. I know you can do all these things. But when I actually talk to somebody directly, all of that goes out the door because I'm like, okay, now this is somebody that's actually in the industry and can teach me way more than what I can look up on Google because you can only know so much when you look it up.
Yeah.
So with that being stated, for someone that comes in and like, okay, I have an idea. What is something as far as advice that you will give them? Because let's go back to Keller Williams. These are the classes that you're talking about, right?
No, so these classes are with other agents we work with, right? Because people want to help people out, right? It's not all just about us. It's all about giving the knowledge to people because when you can have all the knowledge in the world, but guess what? The knowledge is going to end up in a graveyard. So get the knowledge back to people and they do classes and we want to help people out. We do classes to help you out. Now, a lot of times you have the knowledge, right? But a lot of times what people are afraid of,
right?
To pull the trigger. And our job is to get you to pull that trigger because you probably, know everything you need to know, but you're scared to succeed. Like you're scared you're going to do good at it. And it's just like you tell people all the time, you work a 9-to-5 job. And I mean, you work hard. You're very good at your job. And you make a lot of money for some company. So when you can put the same work into yourself? Because it's not easy. And when you realize, tell people this ain't easy. Like this gonna be a lot of blood, sweat, tears. It's gonna be a lot of brunch days you can't go. You gotta let people know that the real, like you may not be able to go to brunch. You may not be able to do this. You may have to sacrifice, but it's something that you can bring your kids. You got kids and daughters and stuff like that. They see that, man, mama, and you could bring them what you sit down. What you think about this? Because sometimes we forget that real estate could be a family thing. And it's like, you got kids, it's like, baby, what you think about this house right here? Because kids gonna get the real. Because we think about flipping a house, right? Yeah, the kids, some of your kids be the biggest critics, like, oh, that's ugly. And you be like, their opinion matters. So, coming in, like you have a plethora of people, but you just got to pull it. You got to pull the trigger, pull the trigger, let what's your plan on doing it? When are we going to execute this plan? Because you got it. Even you got a little bit of it. How can we execute this plan? What's our time frame we want to establish this? Because if we going to keep talking about it, going to classes, when are we going to do it? And that's the big thing. Like, cool, you got this and this. All right, what's the plan on getting executed? Because like sometimes it's like, how much is your time you willing to give up to make your dream come true?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy to get somebody money to do it, but you still want to know what your people on the site are doing, because you may have everything contracted out, but you still want to have an overall basis of what they should be doing. So, like coming in, you may be shadowing somebody as they doing their project. And then sometimes you have to get it. So you can get it, we can get the information, but you may say, hey, Terry, you got a project going on with the woo. And you may go to Terry, I know you got a project going on, and I just want to shadow you, anything you need. You ever heard of sweat equity? So sometimes when people want something, they use that sweat equity, meaning you go over there, Terry, y'all got something, because you're sitting there, you're learning from Terry, you're learning how Terry do this. Because you go find a successful person, you watch them, what you need to go to the site and watch them. And it's like, okay, because you have to Google basics, but Google basics is just Google basics. Like you need to put your feet on the ground and actually go out there to the property site and see how they're doing it. And then ask people, what's your failures? Because we like to know people's success, but what the failures you had. And then take their failures, look at that, okay, how did they fail and how did they overcome it? Take a journey, take a journal, and then write down your process and steps how you failed and overcome. Because the first project, you may do bad at it. But the second project, you did bad. The first project, you may do good at it. The second project, you may do bad. So you know that there's obstacles you got to overcome. So my thing is, you come in with the basics of what you want to do, idea what you want to do. We help you see what we need to do and get started at, or pretty much go and watch somebody, or figure out what type of learner you are. And then from that, we get you into the game and start doing it. Because the thing is, just do it. Because sometimes we will sit there like, I'm going to do it. And Viola Davis said this, what some of the most best ideas is said right now? In the graveyard. So please go ahead and execute that plan, because if you don't, it's always going to be a shoulda, coulda, wouldas. So come with that plan. How are we going to execute this plan? What are we going to do? And then what's your vision? And from there, we just do it. Because like that, you have a vision. You execute a plan and you're going. And as you see, your vision is hard, because guess what? Everybody don't believe in your vision. But what you believe, it's all that matters, because guess what? There's some people that's going to follow you and they're going to love what you do. Same in real estate. You're going to start small, and next thing you know, boom. And then maybe somebody come along like, girl, I want to put some money behind you. I want to invest in you. Let me see what you're going to do. Oh my God. Because when you work hard and people see that, they want to help you. So I would say you come with your plan, get it laid out, let somebody see it. And don't just talk to one person. I never say just talk to one person. I talk to 2 or 3 people. As an agent, if I'm looking for a house for you, I may go to Frisco and Keller Williams. I may go to Keller Williams over here, and I talk to people like, what do you think about this? And I say, okay, it's not because I don't know. I want to see what other people think. Same thing. You going to doing your thing, doing that. How do you do this? What do you do this for? So you want to get different opinions. So you're like, oh, okay. Because sometimes on Google and stuff like that, it be lies. Like,
Right.
HGTV, it be lies, it's reality TV for a reason. So like now you're seeing the people that are doing it, you're seeing the failures, We have a class in DeSoto with Miss Tasha. She's a Black lady, her and her husband, 2 Black people, they buy and flip houses. And so they're having an investor club today. They have a team over there today. We have one here at the Arlington office. And she takes you to the site and she tells you about the city permits and stuff that she have. You can find because your grass not cut. Things that people don't tell you. You got to bring this stuff off of electricity. Things like, oh, you just bought a house and found out, oh, you can't do this asbestos. So things that people don't think about. And then these things make some people give up. Some people like, quit, I can't do this too much. You gave up so fast. Well, look at God. So I would just say, I know I talk too much, but I just say, just get started, come in, get started, and, get with the right people. Because sometimes, and I hear it here in real estate now, people say, you ever heard that saying, somebody say, if you need any help, give me a call, I'll help you. People lie like rugs, but there are people that will help you. So you can't just, cause this person can help you, can't just say everybody. So you're like, oh, but the people that help you, know the people that, to guide you. Just come in and just find the people in your niche and don't take no for an answer. Somebody tell you no, cool, you said no, let me go on over here and let me see what I can do because you want it.
And like that was really, really good. Because there's one thing I do want to unpack, because you mentioned to just do it. And a lot of times people are scared for that first step. But I tell people all the time, done is better than perfect. You have to get through it and then you'll learn as you go. So as you mentioned with the journal and doing those self-reflections and things of that nature, that is totally important as far as the journey. And that transitions me into our next segment, which is pretty much our highs and lows. So as you mentioned before, you're going to have those good moments and you're going to have those okay moments and you're going to have those lessons. What is a moment that makes you question your journey in real estate? And then tell us, how did you get through it in order to still continue being in the industry and helping and showing up the way that you do today?
I had a listing, right? And when you have a listing, people always think their house is worth more than what their house is worth, right? And to you, your house is perfect. There's nothing wrong with your house. But we come in, we critique your home. You know, we're like, you need to fix this, this, and this. And you're like, no, no. And you could tell everybody everything they need to know. I can give you all the advice, 1,000 times. I could tell you, like, listen, you're going to capital gain taxes, you're going to make over $500K when you sell this house. You should talk to a CPA. You should talk to your tax professor and see the numbers. That way we can change the numbers up to the house. That way you're not paying more taxes, because we want to make sure that you are not successfully, going. So we don't want to go out, step outside our lane. So, hey, talk to a tax professional. I'm not a tax professional. Talk to a tax professional, because I'll be liable for that. Clients don't tell you the truth about everything. So it's just like, if you find out that this house is Airbnb or something, and you can't do show at a certain time, and it has been on the market for a while, then you get the blame for it. And you get down because you let somebody down. And that hurts, because when you feel like you let somebody down, it hurts. Like, dang, you feel like you're doing your job, even though you're calling other agents, you're calling people this, and this. But people can't see your house, and then you lose the contract, because, then they have an outside, significant other boyfriend, some come in like, oh no, we can make more. And it hurts when people don't take your advice. They take their significant other advice, and they don't do nothing you say. And you lose the deal, but you're down. But then you have to realize, it's like, dang, did I do this? Did I do that? Did I do this? Did I do that? You have to check yourself and make sure that you did your job, because, sometimes if I was wrong, I'm wrong. But what did I do that I could have did it differently? So I had to go back and analyze what I did wrong. What could I have done differently? And after I did everything, I took my licks, but I did my job. I did what I was supposed to do. You can't win them all. And it hurts, but you can't win them all, and you lose it. But sometimes you can't work with everybody that don't mesh. So you do the best you can, because even Jesus had enemies. So it kind of hurts, but you have to take a reflection, look in the mirror, and write that down. Like, what did you do wrong? And the next deal, you got to make sure that you ask these questions. You make sure that the pitfalls that you had in this deal, make sure they don't come in the next deal, and go from there. So that was one of the things I had, and what I had to do is kind of look at what I did wrong and go from there. So you said with the highs?
Yeah, let's celebrate a high now. Mm-hmm.
My first deal, when I came to real estate, I had a goal of closing 3 houses within my first, I want to close 3 houses by June, and I had 3 houses on contract. With one house I had on a contract, it was crazy, because this young lady, single young lady, she was the first person in the house, first person in her family to buy a house, right? And I just think it's dope, because me being a single father with a young daughter, you don't want to see your daughter thinking that, every life is about money, turning up this and this. You want her to have that balance. But this young lady, she's a nurse, and she's buying her first house. And, when her dad was coming out to see the house, like, I never forget, he had a limp when he walked. He come out to the house or whatnot. So we go through the process of buying a house. Her mom would come out here to go to the house, and nephew come out to live with her house. And I never forget, we were supposed to close. And why having a lender, why listen to your realtor about your lenders is very important, because we know lenders. And I told her, we need to get a lender out here, but she had a lender, and somebody recommended a lender in Atlanta. And this girl was always on vacation. Someone's like, Lord have mercy. So 1 week before closing, we didn't get to clear the close, and we was about to lose the deal. And Charlamagne Armstrong, and I'll never forget this right here, she was at the office, and, she talked to her, and then she prayed with her. I'll never forget this, right? She prayed with her, and started crying. And it's like, she's like, hold on, let's see how we can fix this. She put it through underwriting. So it was a Friday afternoon. She put it through underwriting. And that's why I say, some lenders are amazing. She put that girl through underwriting, and I told her what she needed to do and how we could do the deal. Boom. Charlamagne said, we're good to go. We got to clear the close. And when we closed the house, you could see the look. Her daddy was walking with a limp. He was walking smooth, and he was just so proud of his daughter, the joy that he had for his daughter. He could just buy a house, He got other kids, but she bought a house, She was able to provide a better life for her nephew, because she moved her nephew, her sister, and her mom in, so her nephew could have a better school system. And then she bought a house. She said, what's crazy? She said, my niece told me she wanted to be like me. She's like, Auntie, you doing your thing. And she said, the way that made her feel, one of her siblings looked up to her, and like, wow. Sometimes we don't realize that kids are watching us. Young kids are watching us. Adults are watching us. And that right there inspire people, because some people think they can't do it. Some people think they can't buy a house. But that right there showed her niece that you could do anything, because we come from the same platform. And look at you, Auntie, you done bought a house. She's just like, oh my God. She said that just did something to her when she heard that, because it gave her more motivation. And it did something to me, because it's like, she went through all that right there, and just to see, she didn't do it for herself, she did it for her family. And another high I had was some young man who bought a house, a house built in DeSoto, and single father. And he's like, man, I can't, man. I want to get it, but I can't. I said, I can't. Like, why do we go straight negative? You can't. Let's talk to a lender. Most people are scared to just sit down and speak with a lender because I don't know why. Man, we spoke with a lender. The guy said, yeah, man, you need to fix this. And we almost done with the construction of his new home. He built a new home, got to design it the way he wants to, a single father. And I told him, I said, man, use my motivation, because most men don't buy houses, and it sucks because I don't know why. I said, man, most men don't buy houses. I don't know, we like to go out and do bunch of stupid stuff, but you're a single father, he's taking care of his kids. And I say, man, listen, you hear so much of the black man about his kid's life, and this is this. You just bought a house for you and your son. Like, that right there gives you a high, because it gives you hope, because people in the world think that, we ain't nothing. But when you see another man just like you out here doing it, and he's doing it for his kids. So those right there are high things that people like, man, that's what's up, man. So there's a lot of highs in this game, because it's like when you see somebody not doing it for them, for their family, man, it's just like, wow. And you see somebody who think they can't do it, and they do it. And you meet those good lenders, those good title companies that's really there for people. Like, and man, I got a lot of highs in this, My man retired. He told his wife that he go buy her house one day. And when he retired, he bought her house in Allen, Texas, man. And it was beautiful because, like, she cried because he said, one day I'm gonna buy you a house. I'm gonna buy you a house. And he bought it for his wife. And it's just like, to see the tears of joy. And he said something. He said, as a man, we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. Like, we got to provide and all this stuff right here. And sometimes we don't know how we're going to do it. And he said, today, I was able to, let you pick out a house and, close on it. So those highs right there, because it's just like, it lets you know that we can do this right here. I got this. We can do this right here. So sometimes we just need some help, but sometimes we need some people stay with us. So those are some of the highs right there. But, yeah.
I love it, because I see the joy as you're saying this. It's like joy all over your face. And that's amazing, because you enjoy what you do.
Yeah, because you see it, because people say, what's your hobby? This is my hobby. Now, it's fun. Like, you see people helping out. I got a young lady right now, a young lady, she's 25 years old. She just got her paperwork here. She wants to buy a duplex. 25 years old, single, no kids, want to buy a duplex. So we want to live in one. What was I doing at 25? I couldn't have been thinking like this right here. But those are highs right there, because these are young kids. Like, my God. And it's just like, and I tell these young ladies, like, the black girl doing it right there. Like, look at her, 25, she's about a duplex. Right. So these highs right there just makes it worth living and trying to help them out. So like, now my job is to go out here, let's find you a duplex, let's find a duplex and see how we can make this deal work to where you're benefiting off of it. So it's just like, let's see how we're going to help you not just only have the duplex, let's see what we're going to do to help you make sure your business is straight, because you bought the duplex, make sure your taxes and stuff like the insurance is straight. So that way, things that we get to stuff we don't think about. So, yeah.
All right. So we are wrapping it up. I do want you to tell people how to get in touch with you, your website, LinkedIn, social media, all that good jazz.
Get in touch with me. My name is Willie Hannah. And you look at me on Instagram, it's me, Willie Lee. My number is 817-736-6369. And my email is Mr. Willie, MrWillie @kw.com. Or shoot me a text. But just to let you guys know, one thing I'm very passionate about is that a lot of time in our community that we overlook is will, probate, trust. And we're looking to do something at Cedar Hill Library. We're looking to get something started up over there about bringing people come in and like talking to what people understand about probate, wills, and trust, because we have so many of our family members that pass along and die, and none of their business affairs is intact. He has 6 houses. He has 6 duplexes in Peoria, Illinois, a hotel. He had a house in Houston, and he lost it all because he didn't have his business affairs in order. We don't know what tomorrow has planned for us, so that way they can come here and do their will. Like, there's some wills you can do for free. And like I told a lawyer when I talked to her, sometimes y'all talk to us and y'all talk up there and we don't understand it. We just say, yeah. No, I want you to talk to people to where it's like, what does a probate mean? Because we say probate. I'm like, what is probate? But, we're looking to do that right there in Cedar Hill. And then hopefully we get people out to actually come and get the information and then take it back to their families. Because you buy a house and then you die and your kids just mess it up. So let's see how we're going to, correct these deficiencies. Because I know my family, we had acres and acres of land in Mississippi. And guess what happened? My mom and them generation messed it up. And it's like, now the taxes and stuff like that. And that now, like, what Mama Rosa bought the land for but the land was intended for is not doing that no more. So I wanted to, I'm very passionate about doing a class about that right there. So we're trying to get the logistics together, try to get some people out there to really learn about how to take your assets, because just think about it, you know, your parents, they have a house, they have assets, it's secured. The first thing people say, "Ooh, you try to kill me out too soon." No, we're not trying to kill you out. We try to make sure that
Everything's
the legacy
secure.
that you built, yeah, the legacy that you built is taken care of. It's just not given away to the states. The lawyers, that's
Absolutely.
not coming in and taking the money. So, but that's that. But man, you know, it was a blessing being your president. You know, I met you at the event and he was nice. But man, it's just a blessing. It's an honor to be your president. Every day I learn more. I learn more and more every day. But I love it though. And I just love the fact that, you know, I look at history when I look about how wealthy Black people were when we had our own real estate, we had everything. So that's what gives me the drive. I think gives me the joy. It's all I got right now. So thank you so much. And it's an honor, it's a pleasure. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so one last thing. It's called Motivational Moment. I always leave my audience with something to either just feel encouraged or feel like, hey, I got this information, I'm about to run with it, something just to leave them from this episode. So today's a quote, and I think it goes really good from what we talked about today. So it's by Louis Glickman, and it says, "The best investment on earth is earth." So I'm going to share what I think, and then you can share what you think, and then we'll wrap it up. All right. So basically, when I first read this, the best investment on earth is earth, I thought about us here. I feel like a lot of times we do try to do so much and chase so much when we really have all the resources to get started where we are today. I think a lot of times, like you mentioned earlier, we hold things to the side or we put things to the side like, oh, I'm not ready yet, or this, and that. But in reality, we have things to go ahead and get started today. So what are your thoughts?
That's a mission on earth is earth because you can't make no more earth. Like, you know, that's where you at. Real estate, you can't make no more earth. You got a piece of land, invest into it, keep it for yourself. Make sure you just pass time to your family correctly. Do your research. Just don't go out and buy something without the research on it. Even though that sales rep say this piece of land is good, do your research. Find a builder. You know, before you invest in something, make sure you do your due diligence, because we all say somebody else did that right there. But we all have the 2 parts of material to look at it up for ourselves and, you know, make sure that it's a sound decision and make it make sense. So if you're going to be invested in earth, make it make sense.
Did you have any last words? Anything that you feel like we missed today? Anything that you just share with people before we wrap?
No, I mean, I love this. You know, this is amazing. I'm a very big proponent on people helping people, because you know, I tell people that trying to do something for yourself is hard because we look at failing. It's okay to fail. People like it's not okay. It's okay to fail. But guess what? Tomorrow you start again. You know, and then you make a goal that's obtainable. You know, sometimes we make these goals that's so astronomically big instead of saying we're going to start small, or we count our wins. Like, I did that, you know, praise yourself. I did that, you know, because you have to put in the work. So if it's working out, we want to, now I'm going to try to lose 2 pounds in 2 weeks. Do it small. That way you build yourself up, you know, to get bigger. If you want to do something, do a little bit every day. Like you said, do the Google search every day. Do a little bit every day. But then get to the point where you're ready to pull that trigger. And sometimes you got to invest money to make money. Everything ain't free. And if you don't have the money for it, what can I do for you? Because I don't have the money for it, but I don't want your stuff for free. And when somebody do something for you, make sure you know you return them with gratitude, because people don't have to do nothing for you. People don't have to sit down and do nothing. But when they do give you the time, make sure you know it's like, okay. And it be on time. You know, you meet so many people that want things, but, you know, they're late. They take people for granted. I take nobody for granted, because you learn from everybody. So that's one big thing I tell people: you learn from everybody. Even the most craziest person you learn from. But you know, hopefully be seeing you soon, and hopefully get you out, you know, and, you know, we can get some questions about, you know, probate, property taxes, because we all have dealt with that right there before. And we all want to help our family members to be more knowledgeable about it. But we don't want to just help them be knowledgeable about it. We want to make sure that they understand it, because it's just okay to be knowledgeable about it, but you're knowledgeable about something you really don't understand. We not do our job. So I really want to push that this year to make we get more people to sign up for probate, trust, and wills, and understand it, because we shouldn't have to see our family, you know, dying or going to ask for GoFundMe when people die. So let's, you know, I don't really push that decision. There's nothing wrong with that, but we have opportunities to help our people out and go from there because we all we got. Hey,
That's it.
and it only just it takes just one or two people, and we can make a bigger difference, not just with us, but with these young generation, these young kids, because we got to start looking at them and try pushing them to be great. It's just not, because they're a lot smarter than what we were. And we need role model for young ladies like yourself, like just showing these things that you can do these things, because that's what we're lacking. We're lacking good, positive role models and showing these young people like, hey, you can do this, hey, have that balance. But, I just thank you for that, because you're somebody that, you some young people look up to, because you're doing the work, you're doing the legwork, you're going out doing this right here. You're spending your Saturdays doing stuff. So it's just like, we need more people like you do, not to brag on yourself, but to show these young kids that, man, you're doing it, because there's no opportunity to fail. And I tell the kids all the time, you ain't got an opportunity to fail. There's too much stuff out there to give you access to win. It's just, you got to stop being lazy, and we got to call it spade to spade. Stop being lazy, stop asking for excuses, and go get it. But we see people like you, I love it, because see young ladies like you out there going to get it.
Thank you, Mr. Willie Lee. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're listening to this morning, noon, evening, or night, thank you so much, and see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us for another episode of What's Good podcast with your girl, Brianna Javon. If you found today's discussion inspiring, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your preferred podcast platform. Explore additional resources on our website at whatsgood-productions.com and find our social media links listed in the show notes. Stay tuned for more captivating stories ahead. Until next time, stay blessed and keep uplifting your community.